The documentary begins by auditing the mechanical evolution of the Yakovlev Design Bureau, moving from the heavy Yak-1 and Yak-9 toward the ultimate goal of weightless supremacy. The Yak-3 was not an exercise in adding power, but a symmetry-breaking exercise in subtraction. Engineers performed a ruthless structural audit of the airframe, shrinking the wingspan, removing unnecessary equipment, and utilizing a hybrid wood and metal construction to create a fighter that was significantly lighter than its German counterparts. We analyzed the physics of the power-to-weight ratio, detailing how the Klimov M105PF engine, while less powerful than the German DB605 on paper, allowed the Yak-3 to achieve illegal acceleration due to its low mass. This segment focuses on the industrial grind of the Soviet factories, which produced a machine so aerodynamically clean that it eliminated the acoustic terror of drag, allowing Soviet pilots to regain the initiative in the low-altitude dogfights of the Eastern Front.
The narrative shifts to the tactical interface between Soviet engineering and Western piloting through the lens of the Normandie-Niemen Regiment. This was a forbidden alliance where free French pilots, having fought across multiple fronts, were given the choice of any Allied fighter, including the American P-39 or the British Spitfire, and chose the Yak-3. This segment performs an in-depth mechanical audit of that decision, revealing that the French pilots preferred the Yak's symmetry-breaking agility over the raw horsepower of Western designs. To them, the Yak-3 wasn't just an airplane, it was a mechanical extension of the pilot's own nervous system, capable of outturning anything the Luftwaffe could put in the air. We dive deep into the acoustic terror of the low-altitude Eastern Front. Unlike the high-altitude, oxygen-depleted duels over London or Berlin, the air war in the East was a point-blank audit fought below 12,000 feet. We analyze the physics of the climate-hardened airframe, detailing how the Yak-3's mixed construction of wood and duralumin was engineered for zero-margin survival in the brutal Russian winter. While metal-skinned Western fighters suffered from structural fatigue and engine freezing, the Yak-3's Klimov M105PF engine utilized a forbidden coolant philosophy that allowed it to generate maximum torque in the thick, frigid air of the front lines. The segment breaks down the internal ballistics of the Yak-3's concentrated firepower. The aircraft featured a 20mm Schwach cannon firing directly through the propeller hub and twin 12.7mm Berezin UBS machine guns synchronized through the cowl. We audit the lethal density of this setup. By placing all weaponry in the nose rather than the wings, the Yak-3 eliminated the convergence paradox of wing-mounted guns. This allowed for illegal precision, where a pilot could hammer a single point on a German Ju-87 or FW-190 from 400 yards with zero bullet spread. This mechanical soul of the weaponry turned every French pilot into a high-precision surgeon of the skies. We conclude this extended act by examining the social resilience required to maintain the woven ghost of Soviet aviation. We follow the French pilots and Soviet mechanics as they lived in underground hangars carved out of the mud and snow, performing illegal field repairs, using nothing but basic tools and localized materials. This was the ultimate industrial synergy, a high-performance interceptor maintained by a peasant-driven logistics chain. By the end of 1944, the Normandie-Niemen had achieved an audit of supremacy, downing hundreds of German aircraft and proving that the Yak-3's symmetry of simplicity was the ultimate counter to the over-engineered complexity of the Third Reich.
The finale explores the psychological audit the Yak-3 imposed on the German High Command, leading to the legendary Forbidden Directive issued to Luftwaffe pilots: avoid combat with Yakovlev fighters without an oil cooler intake under the nose at altitudes below 5,000 meters.
We analyzed the physics of the low-altitude trap, detailing how the Yak-3's design allowed it to outturn and outclimb the Bf-109 in the thick air near the ground. This was the symmetry-breaking moment of the late war, where German technological superiority was dismantled by Soviet industrial logic. We examined the mechanical immortality of the Yak-3 as it led the final air sweeps over Berlin, acting as the mechanical executioner of the once mighty Luftwaffe. This extended segment dives into the aerodynamic sovereignty established during the Great Patriotic War's final months. We perform a structural audit of the Yak-3's wing loading, which was significantly lower than the Focke-Wulf 190, allowing for a zero-margin turn radius that forced German pilots to break formation or face instant destruction. We explore the internal ballistics of the late-war dogfights, where the Yak-3's ability to maintain high speeds in a bank allowed it to audit the energy state of any opponent. The narrative captures the acoustic terror of the Klimov engine screaming over the ruins of East Prussia, a sound that signaled the total collapse of German aerial resistance. We then transition to the mechanical resurrection of the Yak-3 in the post-war era. Unlike many wartime aircraft that were immediately scrapped, the Yak-3's industrial reliability saw it serve as the foundational trainer for the next generation of jet pilots. We analyze the symmetry of transition, showing how the Yak-3's handling characteristics directly influenced the development of the Yak-15, the Soviet Union's first viable jet fighter. This section highlights the global resilience of the design, as captured Yaks were studied by Western intelligence, who were shocked to find that such a simple machine could achieve such illegal performance metrics. The documentary concludes with a final audit of 4,848 units produced, crowning the Yak-3 as the point-blank predator that redefined the philosophy of air superiority. We reflect on the mechanical soul of a fighter that didn't need radar, heavy armor, or complex electronics to win. It only needed a pilot, a cannon, and the physics of purity. The final cinematic shot features a restored Yak-3 performing a victory roll over a modern airfield, its wooden wings and metal heart still beating with the industrial defiance that broke the Luftwaffe.